prove he's too much for the younger, unbeaten fighter? It is time to find out in this featherweight showdown. Antonio Davis, he got a late start to the fight game at age 26. Now a 5-year pro, 35 years old. In fact, he just turned 35 yesterday. 23-3 with 11 knockouts. He's been the full 12 rounds 3 times in his career. Just went the distance in a WBO title fight, lost to Joan Guzman 8 months ago. There's Leon Bobo. He's from St. Louis, 28 years old, feels there's no more time to waste. Perfect 16-0 record. Not a puncher at all, just 2 career knockouts. And as we've discussed, this is his first fight scheduled past 8 rounds. He skipped right over the 10-rounders, and now he's right into a tough 12-rounder. Teddy Atlas has the fight plan.
Augusta, Georgia, home of the Masters Golf Tournament. Also the place where Leon Bobo is going to try to stay undefeated. And to do so, I think he's got to bring his long game. No short game, no putting for Bobo. He's a taller guy. He's got the reach. He's a southpaw. Davis going to want to get inside. One thing to look for. Davis, when he comes in, you know he's coming in behind the jab. He tilts forward, leans to his right a little bit, falls forward. That's a place for Bobo. Give him a little room. Step out. Bang! Right hook. Maybe put the left hand with it. Either way, shoot par. Or at least hit Davis. If Davis is getting the upset win tonight, you know he's doing it on the inside. He's not doing it on the outside with the faster, taller, longer Bobo. He's going to want to get in close. Now, a little help for him. Bobo keeps his hands down. He is quick, but a little careless with his hands down. Chances to catch him stepping back with his hands down. Also, you know that Davis is going to chuck some right hands at him, being that Bobo's a southpaw. But most of all, he's going to want to pit him against those ropes where his back's there and he can't move anywhere. And guess what? Not the right hand tonight against the southpaw. I think it's going to be the left hook. Why? Well, Bobo slips over to his left. You can hit him with left hooks. How are you going to get him there? Well, show him the right hand, get him to slip, bang, left hook. That is the way that Davis gets to put the green jacket on. Or if not the green jacket, the green belt.
Beautiful fight plan from the Riverwalk in downtown Augusta. 12-round fight. George Chip is the ref.
We've been over all the rules in the dressing room. Stick to them. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands. Touch gloves, go to your corner, and come out fighting.
Ring Experience is brought to you by Just for Men. You can see that Davis has had the longer career, 40 more total rounds, and those rounds key when it comes to distance. Leon Bobo admitted to us yesterday that he was a little nervous about jumping right into a spot like this in a 12-round fight. Davis is in the red, Bobo is in the black.
Well, expect right away for Bobo. You see that slender body. You see the stronger looking body belongs to Mr. Davis in the red. Expect him to take that body north, or at least inside. Those long arms of Bobo. Bobo wants to be on the outside, use that right jab. Be able to make Davis pay on the outside, and also make him pay a price as he comes in. One good thing for Davis, Joe, he's fought 4 southpaws in his last 7 fights, and he's beat 3 of them. So he's had preparation for what he's facing tonight.
Seems very comfortable putting that right hand to the body early on here.
Not only the length belongs to Bobo and the height, but you see it, the speed. Very fast hands for Bobo, who is a very good amateur.
Natural right-hander, but he fights lefty. Says he learned in training for the full 12 rounds that he learned that he can get mean. Those long sparring sessions can do that to a fighter.
We talked about some of the advantages, the physical assets of Bobo, and also that amateur pedigree. One of the advantages for Davis, he's fought the much better opposition. Now, he's fought a lot of soft opposition, Davis has, and that's where he's gotten most of his wins. When he's lost, it's been to good competition. Well, he's in with good competition again tonight. We'll see whether or not he can change that pattern a little bit and actually beat good competition.
Just last December that Davis fought for the WBO 130-pound title. This fight here at featherweight.
That's not a good sign. Davis has to do his work when he gets inside, and I think he's got to work to the body. That means he's got to keep his hands free. He didn't do that a moment ago. Bobo's going to do his work on the outside. Either he's going to get off first or he's going to try to counter as Davis comes forward. Bobo's going to tie up on the inside. He's not ashamed to tie up. Now he got good extension on that southpaw punch, the back punch, the left hand, the punch that he can really pivot on.
That was a very good-looking straight left hand by Leon Bobo moments ago, and there's a touch of blood on the right side of the face of Antonio Davis. So Davis and Bobo coming to the end of round number 1 on Wednesday Night Fights. Good-sized crowd here at the Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia for Wednesday Night Fights presented by Just for Men Hair Color. Friday Night Fights is going to feature the unbeaten Jean Pascal in Montreal against Kingsley Akiki, and we have a decent main event here in front of us. Round number 2 of Antonio Davis in the red and the undefeated Leon Bobo in his first 12-round fight after fighting nothing scheduled past 8 previously in his career. Davis, when asked about the 12-round distance and the advantage, he told us this fight's not going 12 rounds.
Well, if you want proof, I'll give it to you, of who is the stronger man in this fight, physically stronger, just look at their common opponents. One of them is Donnell Logan. Bobo won a 4-round decision. Davis knocked him out in 8th. Also, another one is Terrence Roy. Bobo won a 6-round decision. Davis knocked him out in the 4th. So the stronger man definitely would seem to be Davis, but to use that strength, again, he has to get in there, and he didn't do a good job when he got inside just a moment ago to use that strength. He allowed himself to get tied up. I'll say it right now, if Davis allows himself to continue to be tied up, and Bobo's not going to be shy of tying him up. He's not ashamed to tie the guy up. He figures that's smart fighting and understanding his strengths and his weaknesses. He's not an inside fighter, he's an outside fighter. But if Davis gets tied up on the inside, and he does again, he's not winning this fight.
Referee George Chip separating them. Davis was on the inside but didn't fire off. Left hand coming back from Leon Bobo. Davis charges back to the inside, tries to put the right hands to the body, gets tied up again.
He allows himself to be tied up, Joe. He didn't get tied up. He allowed himself to be tied up.
He's a participant in that instead of working. That's happened all too often in the opening 5 minutes of this fight.
The corner can be so important in a fight. The corner of Davis needs to concentrate right now when he gets back to that corner of telling him 2 things. One, how to get inside without getting caught. Work your way in behind the jab. Bring your feet. Move your head a little bit. Don't get caught on the way in. And most important, how to not let that happen. Don't smother yourself.
Antonio Davis lives just 2 hours away in Atlanta. Bobo from St. Louis. Very fast, slick southpaw.
That's what you want to do with your Davis. Keep your hands free and work. And you have your man where you want him. You got Bobo, the faster guy, where he can't move. He can't use that speed. His back is against the ropes.
End of 2.
Right now at Serpentini Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Wednesday Night Fights at the Bell Auditorium in Augusta, Georgia. It has been a good night so far. Augusta's Ray Whitfield scored a knockout win to start the night, and a very meaningful 12-round featherweight bout between Leon Bobo and Antonio Davis now in round number 3. We will also soon be visiting with the newly crowned titleist Vernon Forrest, Augusta's favorite pugilistic native son.
And not only a good fighter, but a good person. As good outside the ring as he is inside the ring.
Antonio Davis trying to let loose here as Bobo in that defensive posture with his back up against the ropes.
Well, right now, Davis has half of the equation perfect. He's got Bobo where he can't move. He's got him right where he wants him, against the ropes. Now the other part of the equation is to do that. Just keep those hands moving and don't get tied up. See, this is where there's a big advantage when you're the short arm guy. Usually it's a disadvantage being a short arm guy, because you have to get inside to have an advantage. But when you're the short arm guy and you're inside, those short arms, they serve you with short punches inside. The long arm guy on the inside, usually he has no room to use those long arms. He's at a disadvantage.
No, don't hit him in the back.
Another reason why Davis wants to be close, Joe. He's the bigger guy, turned pro lightweight. Between lightweight and junior lightweight his whole career. Bobo between featherweight and junior lightweight most of his career.
This fight at 126 pounds. Neither guy said they had an issue with the weight. In fact, both guys came in manageably under the mark. 125.25 for Davis, and Bobo easily came in 125.5.
Well, you know what? Davis came in the lightest of his career, and I have an issue with the weight, and I think it's going to show itself. Well, if it does, it's going to show itself late in the fight. You know what that is?
Something in the gym?
Yeah, you know, the issue for me is that the one advantage Davis has and had, at least going into this fight, was he was the bigger, stronger guy. And he comes in the lightest of his career. He may have done too much to get down to that weight, and he may have given away his one real advantage, strength. And if he has, it's going to show as we get later into the fight.
Let go of that body. Let go of his head. Let go of him, Bobo.
Right now, you can't make any qualms if you're in the corner of Davis. He's been able to get in and be able to score, no problem. It's just a matter of how much does he want to score, and Vernon can elaborate on that. How much does he want to score when he gets inside? Because Vernon knows you don't get tied up. You let yourself get tied up.
Vernon Forrest knows a heck of a lot about all the tricks of the trade, and he showed it this past Saturday night in Tacoma, Washington, when the 36-year-old veteran took on recent welterweight champion Carlos Baldomir for the WBC's 154-pound title. And it was the Vernon Forrest of old, having to deal with all the injuries in recent years. Now he is back, winning the belt by unanimous decision. Vernon, good to have you ringside, and congratulations on your victory. How much did this mean to you after everything you've been through in recent years?
Words cannot explain it. I mean, I've literally cried because, you know, I couldn't even lift. 3 years ago, I couldn't even lift my arm up. This is as far as I can lift my arm up, and to go from not being able to lift my arm up to winning the world championship again, it's special.
Teddy, what'd you think of how he looked the other night?
Oh, very good. I think that you had the right opponent in front of you.
Absolutely.
Guy slower than you, a guy as not as skilled as you.
Absolutely.
But you went out there and took advantage of those opportunities and, of course, those assets. My question to you is, physically, you still have the talent. You're healthy now. The technique, great. You've always had good technique. That's always going to serve you, even as you get older. A lot of fighters that depend on reflexes and speed, they get hurt when they get older. Guys like you, good technique guys, you don't get hurt. My question to you, and I think it's the only question that's really relevant, is the fire. Is the fire and the great desire, is that back?
It's still is there. It's greater than ever. You know, I've been to the mountaintop. You know, I've been to the bottom, and you know, everything. The foods taste better. The air is cleaner. Everything is better at the top. And so, you know, top is where I want to be.
And you know what? Talking about those advantages, if you're the shorter man, like Davis is right here, the place you want to be, it's not in the top, but it's inside. And Davis has been able to do that.
See, what Davis is doing to Bobo, he's using veteran skills, veteran tricks. He's not allowing him to get range. He's keeping him close. He's making his arms short. He's keeping his head in his face, and he's really frustrating Bobo. And because Bobo is a young guy, he hasn't really figured out what this guy is doing. And maybe, you know, maybe Bobo is a little too experienced to be up in the ring with this guy on this level.
Well, what you just
Point
said
deduction here, guys.
What you just said is that Davis has been fighting his fight and not allowing Bobo to fight the fight he needs to fight.
Absolutely. Bobo's it's obvious he's a much better skilled guy. The combinations that he's throwing, he's sharp with it, but he's coming up a little short. And right now he's getting frustrated because he don't know what to do. And I don't know if his corner telling him the right stuff to do, but at this point he's confused and he just don't know what to do.
I know one thing not to do. Don't lay on those ropes.
Yeah.
Don't allow the shorter, what seems to be, as we said all night long, stronger guy to get inside with you and pin you there.
When he does that little half step and he fires back, I mean, it's perfect. It's picture perfect, but he goes straight back into a straight line as opposed to stepping around to the side. And that's the reason why he keeps getting pinned on the rope and again pounded on.
Antonio Davis, just a mauling effort against Bobo here in this fourth round. A point deduction occurred in this round, taken away from Bobo for clinching. Bobo now tries to let the hands go, but you can see he has been smothered throughout here against Davis in round 4. The body shot numbers, this is in the complete fight, 102-18 advantage.
That point deduction so big in this round because what makes it bigger is Davis is winning this round. So right now it looks like it's going to be a 10-8 round for Davis. We said from the beginning that Davis has fought the much better opposition. We said that this was a big step up in opposition for Bobo. And so far, as Vernon said, Bobo has not found a way to handle that step up.
A very, very good round for the 35-year-old veteran, Antonio Davis. And a 4 here in Augusta. We are with Augusta's very own world champion again, Vernon Forrest. Obviously, everybody wants to know, so where do you go from here? So where do you go?
Well, Disney World.
I know you're going to go back to the gym as soon as possible.
I'll be back in the gym Monday. I'll be in training camp on 1st of September, and I'm just going to work. I'm just going to work, and I'm going to let the business side kind of work itself out. So I'm not really kind of concerned about what's out there. What's out there going to be out there, but I would like to fight, you know, the bigger name fighters. If not, then, you know, I've been patient this long. I know how to be patient.
I would assume, though, that when Vargas fights Mayorga, you'd like to see Mayorga win that fight to try to avenge
Absolutely.
what happened earlier in your career.
Until before my career is over, I would love. We have to do it again.
Well, what we have to do right now is get your prediction on that fight. Who's going to win that fight between Vargas and Mayorga? Forget about your heart, your mind. Who's going to win?
Vargas.
Better
Honest
technique,
answer.
right?
Yeah.
Vernon Forrest with us live ringside in his hometown here of Augusta, Georgia. Round number 5. Antonio Davis in the red trunks. The undefeated Leon Bobo taking a step up here. Main event status. First time he's been scheduled past 8 rounds. In that last round, Davis landed 38 punches of the 84 he threw. Vernon, what is the one change that you'd like to see for Leon Bobo? If you were working his corner, you'd be telling him.
Tell him to stay on the outside. Stay on the outside. Keep stepping around. See, he's going right back in a straight line. And every time he goes to straight line,
right hand.
he get hit. Every time.
And there's that southpaw killer, the right hand.
Absolutely.
Punch track numbers brought to you by Just for Men. Update you on the jab stats, and that's not a good sign for Bobo at all statistically to see those numbers. This isn't a good sign, just covering up against the ropes, and he was buried by a right hand, and he falls out almost onto us. Teddy Atlas holding him up there for a moment, gets himself back into the ring.
4, 5, I'm going to let you go back. 6, ready? 7.
And body shots is catching up with him. Big time.
Yeah, and a good move from the body to the head there by Davis. He set it up the way you want to do it. Downstairs, Vernon, and then short and sweet, something upstairs.
Textbook, and it's just all veteran stuff. Just all veteran stuff. And what he's doing, he's just hitting him. No, it doesn't matter where he hit him, he's just hitting him because, you know, this guy never been 12 rounds. The most he ever been was 8, so he might have
Good right hand there comes in, guys. Bobo doesn't look good. He's trying to hold on.
And the same combination that we saw a moment ago again against the ropes, that's what's in common. Against the ropes is where Bobo is incurring all this damage. And the same combination, downstairs and then a right hand upstairs.
There is no 3 knockdown rule. No 3 knockdown rule. He's been down twice.
Again, he's going to the place that has gotten him in trouble, against the ropes, once again.
Let go! Let go! Up!
Can Antonio Davis get it accomplished in these final 50 seconds of the 5th round?
Well, right there, Davis not helping himself by smothering himself.
Here he comes in. Bobo doing nothing but covering up.
Well, watch
he needs to fire back at some point.
Watch for the real damaging combination when he gets his hands free. A couple punches downstairs, and so far the 2 knockdowns have been caused by a right hand upstairs.
Bobo has 15 more seconds to survive this. Tosses out a left hand. Now tries to hold on. Davis still trying to hunt him down.
Let go! Time! This corner.
George Chip is bringing him over to the neutral corner and deducting a point again for excessive holding.
Wow.
So 2 knockdowns and a point deduction. This is going to be one of those rare 10-6 rounds.
10-6 rounds, 10-6 rounds, right.
Not necessarily. It could be a 10-7 round because 10-8 because of the knockdown. You don't have to make it, even though it was 2 knockdowns, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
No, you don't have to. I mean, it depends how severe those knockdowns were, how impaired he was. I don't think it was severe enough.
I think he's quitting.
But more importantly, he might not want to fight no more, so we don't have to talk about that.
Fight's over.
It is over. The fight is over. TKO win, Antonio Davis.
Well, when you step up like this, we always say it, Vernon, you find out what's inside a fighter.
Absolutely.
And right now, the people with Bobo can't feel good about what they found out.
Vernon Forrest, why did it go south so quickly there for him?
You know what? The guy's a veteran. What he did was he put his head right in the middle, and the guy couldn't get his punches off. He started getting hit with shots that he's not accustomed to getting hit with, and he had no answers. I don't know if the corner was telling him, but as a young fighter, he just didn't have enough experience for a guy like Davis.
Bobo, very tall, very slender, not physically strong at all. And the place to go with a guy like that is to that slender, almost weak body, and Davis attacked that body.
I don't know.
I'm just telling you, man, look.
And those body punches, they linger with you.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at the first knockdown of the 5th round, Teddy.
Good body punches again. Outside those elbows. Smart punching there by Davis. Outside the elbows, and then he switches upstairs with the right hand. That does damage, and then he just kind of allows Bobo to go downstairs.
Teddy with an assist there, just really protecting him, not pushing him back in the ring was Teddy there, and then here's how he finished him with the 2nd knockdown.
Again, downstairs, the same formula, and then the right hand upstairs to create the knockdown.
Hey, Vernon, great job here.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you. You're going to be the Friday Night Fights studio guest analyst next Friday.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you then.
Great having you with us.
Absolutely.
As always.
The Just for Men Punch Track Fight Recap. Antonio Davis really piling on the numbers in round number 5. He had 35 connects in that 5th round. Overall, you see a 201-46 edge for the veteran Antonio Davis. To make it official, we send it up to the ring to J.D. Lyons.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at the very end of the 5th round. Your winner. And now, the NABO Featherweight Champion from Atlanta, Georgia, Antonio Davis.
Antonio Davis said he still is capable of accomplishing a lot, and he wants to do it now at 126 pounds. Well, he came up with a good win, the first loss in the career of the speedy Leon Bobo. Davis doing the damage in round number 5. 25 4th win of his career. More to come.
X Games